Hey you guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. If y'all are new here, my name is Cassandra. I'm the witch, author, and poet of Magic of Eden. Welcome to your new spiritual safe haven. And if y'all are returning, hey family, welcome back to our sacred garden. I'm always honored, excited, and elated to be in your presence. So, the reason why we're here tonight is because I wanted to do a follow-up video because I just did a video or reading. Actually, I'll make sure to link it here somewhere after I'm done editing the video, or I may not even edit the video at all. I think I may just put the video up here somewhere. I wanted to take a moment really quickly here to have a very transparent moment with you guys, because I know that we don't get these moments very often. I know that typically the way that I show up is I show up as just simply a channel, and I show up just simply as an artist and things like that. But I feel heavily called to say that there are so many things right now that are changing in this reality. There's this whole matrix. It's getting a shift, a change, and we're pivoting. And this whole matrix is about to be reset, like not even joking. And I'm coming to you right now because I know that we are all in, as the world is concerned, we are in a 9-year. And I feel like with that, I want to say that with us being in this 9-year, that we are coming to a closing on a lot of things. We are breaking a lot of habits. We are ending a lot of cycles. We are basically in a space where we are being called to sit down and think. We are being called, especially because we are still in winter. Now, if you think about the number 9s in tarot, the number 9s are usually cards where it's not an ending just yet, but it's where we're getting there. It's like the buildup. It's where everything is starting to build up, and it's like at a head. That's kind of where I see the 9. And I could go on and on about the symbolism of the number 9, but I really don't want to do that because there's a point I'm going to make later on in the video. At least I hope. So with this being like in the number 9, if you think about the number 9 in the tarot cards, you have the 9 of Cups, right? You have the 9 of Swords, you have the 9 of Pentacles, right? You have the 9 of Wands. And usually, typically these cards, at least to me, it brings me to this moment where we have a sit down and we sit and we think and we soak in everything that is going on around us. And I feel like that is exactly where we're at right now. We are in a space right now in our lives where we are sitting and soaking and thinking and diving into all of the things that have come to pass, because we are about to get ready to go through a major rebirthing. Like this whole system, this whole matrix, and as a whole, it's being reprogrammed. Like I can't help but feel intuitively like this whole thing, it's being rewritten somehow, but it was prophesized. There's so many things in your life right now that you may be going through where you feel like you're having a hard time sitting with. And the reason why is because these are things more than likely that have been dormant, right? They have been swept under the rug. They have not been dealt with. They've been just kind of sitting there, just lying there. But these things are reawakening because they're being called into question. And they're being called for you to look at them and observe them and question and see what happened and why. This is bringing me the justice card vibes, and the reason why, not justice, I'm sorry, judgment. And the reason, and justice when you think about it, but the reason why I wanted to say judgment was because judgment is one of those cards that indicates that there is something that is being reawakened, or there's something that is awakening because there is a review, right? There is a divine review, and we need to see if this is worthy enough to ascend to heaven. Is this worthy enough to go on to the next level, or does it have to repeat the cycle all over again, right? And I feel like with that, a lot of people are, again, having a really hard time sitting with these things because they've been trapped in this loop, in this hell, right? Devil card, they've been trapped in this hell, and everything is coming back around full circle. And now people are in a space in their lives right now where they're reaping what they've sown. Now, I don't mean that in a negative way, but what I am saying is that we're in a space right now where we are being called to really sit down and face the things that have been coming up and coming up and coming up. Because when we get into this 10-year in the world, that's when you're going to see a lot more things shifting and taking place. And I'm hearing like the word eruption right now. Like there's going to be a lot more eruptions and a lot more things that are going to be cemented for some people. I'm hearing it's like for like the next 20 years or so, or within like, for some people it's for the rest of their lives, and for some people it's like for, again, like the next decade or for however long. But I'm also feeling like Spirit is saying is that I want you to really take a moment and think about the lessons that you learned in your life right now, and I want you to ask yourself, did I truly learn this lesson? Or am I just telling myself this because the thought of it sounds good? And it's so interesting because, and I'm going to say this because at one point I thought I was okay enough, right? And I'm only using myself as an example because I want you guys to know that I'm making a very authentic and a transparent connection with you guys. I thought for myself that I had gotten through the hardest part of the grieving process, right? When my husband transitioned, unfortunately. And I'm realizing that I carried a lot of that trauma with me, which is the reason why my body is experiencing what it is experiencing now. And I'm having to get myself out of this loop, this hellhole of health, because of all the things that I did not allow myself to feel through when I was, going through it and whatnot. And it didn't stop me from showing up as a healer. It didn't stop me from showing up as someone that was meant to give divine channels and things like that. It never stopped me. But at the same time, I noticed that for myself, that even me too, I'm under the same energy that you are, right? And I'm noticing that I'm slowing down a lot more. And I think that the message that Spirit has for all of us is that we're being really called to slow down and to sit down. And the reason is because there are a lot of things that we have to question right now. Do I really want this? Is this really for me? Are these people really for me? Am I going down the right path? Do I need to pivot? Do I need to change it up? Like, what am I being called to do? And I really do feel like Spirit, one way or the other, is showing us all to slow down. Our minds, right, these days, our attention spans are so short. Like, you have all this short form content, and you have all this easily accessible everything, and it's Spirit is like, we've had enough. And I feel that some people definitely have had enough. There's some people right now who really need to go through this healing process, and the reason why they need to go through that is because they're not clear. Right? And I'm gonna say this, and I know that people, they have their opinions. I don't want to listen to anyone that's overweight and like all this shit. Fine, whatever. You can feel like that. I don't care. What I will say is that as a person who was healing her body, I noticed that I've always been a clear channel. For those of you that know me, you guys know I have been a clear channel for over 10 years now. I've been doing this for a very long time. In fact, I've actually been a clear channel since I was a child. Go back and listen to some of my videos and whatnot. I actually talk about it, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. I had to say that, you guys. I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to those people who like to anyway, back to the point that I'm making. As someone who is healing her body, I'm noticing that the channel it's getting even more clear, it's getting even more loud. And I feel like Spirit is wanting us to purge. Spirit is wanting us to cleanse. And it's so interesting because in that previous video, I actually was talking about that. But now I'm going to say it now. We are in a space in our lives right now where Spirit is not only protecting us, but Spirit is also saying is that I need you to focus on your healing. I need you to focus on cleansing yourself. I need you to focus on your internal body, because there is a lot of things that are going to be happening in this reality, in this matrix. And I need you to be prepared. And I will never not equip you. I've equipped you by giving you your intuition, right? And I know that it sounds biblical. I don't mean for it to sound that way. And as I say that, the High Priestess card is still sitting here on my altar / desk. And with the High Priestess here, the High Priestess is one of those energies that is, even though she's very passive, even though the High Priestess doesn't necessarily fully do, the High Priestess is always in the know. And the reason why the High Priestess is because this is the card of intuition. And even when we don't know everything, right, our intuition will always guide us to the right reasoning. And I feel like that's just simply the time that we're in right now. We are really being called to surrender, you guys, and to focus. You can still show up and do what you love. You can still show up and do your best. Always, because you only get better. You only get better. At the same time, you guys, I want you to take that as it resonates. We are all in a space right now where we are being called to really sit and to connect and to be transparent and to be open about the things that we're going through, to be open about us needing help at times, right? We are in a space where we need to be more available to each other in the ways that we need to be, or in the ways that we can be. And I'm saying that because there are a lot of things that I have been feeling recently. There are a lot of things that have been coming through, and I will never ever in my life encourage any type of like fear mongering. I would never, I'm gonna grab a napkin really quickly, you guys, give me one second. I would never feed into any type of fear mongering or anything like that. But what I will say is that we are definitely in a space in our lives where we are having to come together more as a community, and we have to be honest. And I don't know why, but the word that I've been hearing recently is confession. Like, what are you confessing? Like, what do you need to express? What is it that you've been sitting with in your life that you have not been talking about? What are things that you've been going through in silence? Show up and share your story, because when you share your story, more healing can come from that. But so many people, we just want to make it appear as if we have it all together. Spirit is telling us now to just take the mask off. You know, I was just doing some reading, some random reading, and I was reading up on like how people, when they play these roles, how they need therapy sometimes after they're done with the role, because they've been sucked so far into the character that they start to lose themselves, that, you know, it affects their bodies and things of that nature. And that's exactly what I feel is going on with a lot of people now, and people are realizing that I've been so sucked into this role, into this thing, into this person, that I'm losing myself in the process. And who am I anymore? There's so many things that are happening in this life, and this is the reason why Spirit is saying for you to sit down. It's okay that you take a break and sit down. It's okay. You can still show up and do things sparingly, right? When you feel motivated and whatnot. The discipline is good. Having discipline absolutely is good, but we need to get out of this over glorification of can't stop, won't stop. It is toxic to the system. It is toxic to your being. You were made to rest, and you were made to feel good. Like, you were not made to just work. Yes, our bodies can be equated to machines. I get that 100%, but you are also meant to rest, because at some point, even machines need to be turned off to be cleaned, right? But in your case, you're not a machine. You are a being. Like, you are a being, and you have to remember to trust yourself enough to allow yourself to surrender during this time. We are in a 9 year. Things are definitely closing out. Things are coming to a culmination, and things are coming to a head, and there will be more eruptions. But are you going to erupt with the rest of the world, or are you going to be at peace, knowing that you are protected and safe no matter what? There are so many things that are going on in this reality right now, and they don't want us to look up. If you catch my drift, they don't want us to look up. They don't want us to see the truth. And I feel like if you're on this channel, we are going to express the truth. We are going to express the truth. I will have always dedicated myself to ensuring that I give you nothing but the truth. And this is the truth. And I feel like if I'm putting myself out there on the internet, right, on YouTube, where I know that where people, this is out in the open, this is a public forum, like, right, like this, anyone can say whatever they want. But at the end of the day, I love you guys more than my fear, and I'm going to continue to show up for you guys in the best way that I possibly can, within reason. I'm now in a space in my life where I'm learning to slow down. I'm now in a space in my life where I'm learning to surrender, because no matter what, we will all be okay, and we will be more than okay. We will thrive. We are thriving, right? And I feel like that is what Spirit wants us to come to terms with. Forgive yourself for whatever it is that you have done in the past. Forgive yourself for accepting certain people in your life. Forgive yourself for bailing on yourself. Forgive yourself for the ways that you talk to yourself. Like, there's so many things, like, you know, that we can forgive ourselves for. But I also say now that you are protected, and that you are loved, and that you are seen, and that you are someone, if you are here right now, that your best is coming. And I do not mean that to give you false hope. I am saying that because I speak life over you. I speak love over you. I speak honor over you. You are someone to be honored. And Spirit is inviting you to honor yourself and ask yourself, where can I honor myself more? I'm learning that lesson, and I'm telling you guys, it took me years to tell you what I'm telling you in, what is that, 14 minutes and 55 seconds. It took me well over 15 years to learn this lesson, and I'm telling you in 15 minutes. I love you so much, and I really do mean that. And in 10 years, I want us to come back to this video and say, Cass, wow, look at how far we've come. So if you're coming here from the future, hey, if you're coming from the past, how does that work really? I don't know. I don't know. I guess, you know, if you've watched this video and you came back again like 15 years later, that's so funny. Anyways, so I love y'all. And I hope that this message gave someone peace. And I hope that by tuning into this, that you feel just like you could just exist and slow down, right? Like you can sit down and allow these things to happen and just to kind of just be. Like, we're in a process of really learning what it means to let go. And that's exactly where we're at now. We're letting go. Things are coming, things are wrapping up. I can feel it. I can feel it. Like, things are wrapping up. It's like what I'm seeing right now is that someone's like picking up the remainder of like the paper, of like gift wrapping paper and like plastic. And we're like, yep, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Let's go ahead and throw this paper out because we're done here. You know, we're getting ready to be done. And we're gonna make it. We've made it. We've quantum leaped. And so this is a message for our spiritual team to remember who we are, remember what you are, and remember why you are here. Okay? Remember the reason. Remember the mission. But most of all, remember yourself in the process. I love y'all, and I'll catch y'all in my next video.